I make 6 figures a year on Etsy selling embroidered sweatshirts without spending a dime on ads. I figured out what works, what doesn't, and what actually makes a difference when you're starting your own Etsy shop. And today I'm going to give you the exact steps to do it yourself. I've also created a free guide for you to fill out. You can download it from the link in the description if you want to follow along or jot down your thoughts as you watch. Let's get started. The first thing you need to think about is, of course, your shop name. That is the first thing everyone will see when they click into your profile. While it's not super important to have the same name across all platforms, I definitely recommend that if the name is available on Etsy. For us, unfortunately, it wasn't available, so we had to end up adding the word shop at the end of our name, which is completely fine. Etsy will actually sometimes suggest names to you if your name is taken. So if you're unlucky like us and your shop name is taken, don't worry. You can always add something at the end or in the middle of it just to make it a little bit different. If your name isn't taken, I definitely recommend you to use the same name across all your platforms. This just makes it a lot easier for people to find you. People actually end up looking you up on social media platforms because they want to know if you're a legit shop before buying from you. So that is just a quick tip. If you don't already have social media platforms or a name, that's completely fine. Just come up with something that's memorable, very easy to spell, and also something that's not too long. If your name is super complicated, I feel like it's really hard for someone to remember it and look you up if they spent a few days thinking about the product. They might just completely forget. So that is just something to think about and keep in mind when you are thinking of a shop name. Next up, if you don't already have a craft or your business Instagram or TikTok set up, I definitely recommend you to sign up for social media. This just keeps your personal and business life separate, and people will seem to trust you a lot more when you have social media presence. Maybe post some highlights or stories to showcase that you are a legitimate person and you exist behind the screen. This just makes the customer feel a lot more comfortable when they're purchasing from you. We have story highlights for people reviewing our products, so someone posting them wearing a shirt, we have a Instagram highlight for that. We also have one for proof, so like kind of like our work area, the behind the scenes, everything like that. I think that customers really appreciate that, especially those who have been scammed in the past. We have had a lot of customers actually reach out to us and ask if we're a legitimate business because they've been scammed in the past. With my social media, I can then send it to them to make them feel a little bit more comfortable buying from us. But yes, for sure, keep your business and your personal life separate. I mean, nothing's stopping you from promoting your business on your personal account, but it just makes you a little bit more trustworthy when customers see that you have a business social media presence. Let's move on to what you're actually selling. I feel like if you're watching this video, you already have something in mind of what you want to sell. I know you probably have tons of ideas in your head, but starting small is key. I remember when I first launched my shop, I had big plans to sell so many different products, from bookmarks, stickers, jewelry, clothing, everything in between. But then I quickly realized afterwards that I should have focused on one thing and one thing only, because you can always expand in the future when you grow. For example, I do not regret just selling around 2 or 3 designs when I first started, because this way it was a lot more manageable for me. If I had like 40 designs like I do now, I would have been all over the place and I wouldn't have known how to complete everything. I also recommend having a plan on when you're going to launch certain products so you can keep your inventory in check. It could be adding a new product from every few months or updating existing products with new variations, so having different colors or different sizes. This just keeps your shop a little bit more interesting, and also it gives you something to work on while things are a little bit slower. Now, when it comes down to supplies and inventory, make sure that you keep those in check and you don't overspend. I know that in the beginning it can be really exciting because you're starting something new and it's just it just seems so much fun to buy all these supplies and test everything out. But I recommend you to start small, and you don't need the fanciest equipment when you're first starting. We actually bought the cheapest embroidery machine and then later got better ones because we didn't want to spend thousands of dollars on one machine if we haven't even tested if we actually like embroidery and we want to continue with it. So buy enough materials for your first 25 orders, and then you can gauge the demand. After that, you can obviously buy more or buy in bulk because you know you can sell the product and you know exactly how much you should be getting. So don't overspend in the beginning and buy a ton of stuff that you don't need. Remember that you can always replenish your stock and buy more, but you can't return a lot of things because if you go past the 30-day return window or you already made something, you can't return it, but you can always buy more because it's just literally one click away on Amazon. Just make sure you keep the inventory and supplies in check in the beginning. Next up is pricing. This is probably the trickiest part when you're starting your own small business, just because you have no idea what to charge and you're brand new to this. I know when I first started, I was undercharging a lot because I didn't know what to do and how to charge people. So after maybe a few months, I got the hang of it because I realized that I wasn't making enough profits to pay for my own time. So I think after a few months, you'll realize if you are running a deficit or not. But it is important that you factor in material cost, your time, which is the most important, shipping, and also platform fees if you have them. Even on Shopify, when I have my own website, you will run into transaction fees and all of that. But on Etsy, it is a higher fee, unfortunately, because you are using someone else's marketplace to promote your products. So you have to factor in the, I think, 6.5 to 10% transaction fee and processing fee and all of that stuff. So make sure you factor all of those fees in to your price. It's also important to see what your competitors are charging, so do some research on what exactly you're selling and how much other people are selling it for, just so you're aware if you are overcharging or undercharging. This just gives you a bit of an idea on how much you should be charging. This is what we did later on when we found out that we were undercharging people. It helps you learn a lot about the industry and the niche you're in and kind of what the price ranges are. For us, it's always around like $45 to $85 depending on what type of embroidered sweatshirt it is and which shop it's from. So sometimes we price them in the middle of it. We try to price our products as fairly as possible because we want to value our time, but we also want our customers to get it at a fair price. Keep in mind that you also have to take promotions and discounts into consideration when you're pricing your products. So if you are looking to do any promotions in the future or a discount, like let's say a Black Friday sale, you will have to make sure your products are priced accordingly. If it's priced too low, you can't even give a discount at all. So make sure you keep that in mind when you are setting your prices. Here's an example. If it costs you $5 to make a sweatshirt and $4 to ship it, you need to make sure you're pricing it high enough to cover Etsy fees, packaging, and your time. If Etsy takes a 20% fee, you need to price your item accordingly so you're still making a profit. For instance, if you price a sweatshirt at $25, after Etsy takes their cut, you'll still have enough to cover your costs. Now let's talk about the most important thing when you're running an Etsy shop, SEO and keywords, so you can make sure your products are shown and visible to customers. You can have the best product out there, but you have the wrong keywords or not the right ones, and it is not visible to anyone. This is where a tool called Sales Samurai will be super helpful for you when you're first starting out. Etsy SEO can be really tricky, and picking the wrong keywords can leave your listings invisible, but with Sales Samurai, you don't have to fly blind. What I love about Sales Samurai is that it doesn't rely on a third-party APIs for keyword data. Instead, they have their own team of data scientists to provide more accurate, up-to-date information, so you know you're using the best keywords for your products. With its Chrome extension, you can even do research directly on Etsy without needing to switch between tabs. Plus, Sales Samurai offers a 3-day free trial, so you can dive in and optimize your shop without any upfront costs. You'll be able to easily find the most effective keywords for your products, titles, and tags based on real-time data. It'll even show you which products are getting the most visibility, the price range, and what shipping options are working best for similar items. Plus, with Sales Samurai's tools, you can refine your tags, optimize your listings, and get ahead of the competition. If you're serious about improving your Etsy SEO, I highly recommend you give Sales Samurai a shot. You can use the link in the description below and my code Percy's Angels for 20% off after your 3-day trial. Thank you so much, Sales Samurai, for sponsoring this video. Now let's talk about product descriptions. Your product description should tell a story and what your product actually is. For us, we like to include a little paragraph of why we made that product and what it is. And then we also like to include the garment. So for example, what we use are Gildan crew necks. We like to include the blend, so 50% cotton and then 50% polyester. This way we're pretty upfront and transparent about what we use. And if there's anything like the size of the font can't be changed or the colors can't be changed, we will leave that in the description as well. Anything about shipping we have across all of our listings. We just copy and paste it for every single product description. That way people know how long it usually takes them to receive their product. Our processing time is also in the product description, so people know how long it takes us to make the product and then ship it out. Another really important thing about listing your products is having really good photos. Obviously, you don't need the nicest camera to take these photos. I take all of my photos using my phone, so you have no excuses for taking bad photos. You just need good lighting. I promise you, literally, the only thing you need is a window, or you just go outside with your product when it is a sunny day, and your products will look amazing under the sunlight. Make sure you plan out how you want to take a photo of your products. For us, we like to take one with the sweatshirt folded with the design on it, obviously, and then one that is laid out, and then one of someone wearing it. This just makes it easier for the customer to envision how it will look like on them or on someone else. We also provide a sizing chart in our photos so people know what size they should be choosing. All of our sweatshirts are true to size, so we like to include that in our sizing chart as well. We make sure that this is available across all of our listings. If it's not in the photo, it's in the description, so it just makes it a lot easier for people to access. Another tip is to not be afraid of looking at what other Etsy shops are doing. Maybe you can take inspiration from them. Obviously, don't copy them and have your own unique style and brand identity to it, but it is not a problem looking at what works for other people and what doesn't. For example, maybe their photos look a little bit dim or anything like that. You can learn from that and make your photos look a lot nicer from a customer's perspective. Make sure that you are watermarking your photos. I didn't do this in the beginning. I still sometimes don't because I don't like the look of it. But if you are scared of someone stealing your pictures, I highly recommend you put a very faint logo or something to kind of avoid people from stealing your photos. Whenever we post anything original on Etsy, it will get stolen maybe a day or two later, which is really annoying, and they'll be selling it at like half the price because they're being mass produced somewhere. And people are basically getting scammed even sometimes, because I had customers reach out to us and was like, is this your listing? Are these real? And I was like, no, that is not me, and it is my picture though. And there's nothing I can do about it. You can't take it down on Etsy because they don't care. You can file a copyright claim, but usually it doesn't really go through, so it's kind of useless. So make sure you're watermarking your photos. At least it deters people from stealing your pictures because your name is on there or something like that. I should probably be taking my own advice because I get really pissed off when someone steals my pictures and starts selling them. But there is not much you can do about it other than adding a watermark, and sometimes I'm too lazy and I don't like the look of it. But if you are worried about something like that, I definitely recommend you add a watermark. Again, I have made a little bit of a worksheet for you if you're interested in downloading that for free in my description. Hopefully this will help you a little bit when you are making or starting an Etsy shop and thinking about what you want to sell and how to sell it. I wish I had a resource like this when I was starting 4 years ago, but unfortunately I didn't really find anything on the internet for free, at least. So I hope that it helps someone out there feel a little bit more comfortable starting their Etsy shop and getting it on the right path to success. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you next time. Bye.